came to the PBHA open house for my first time my freshman fall. That was super exciting. I felt like a kid in a candy store.
So I started off my freshman spring semester as a breakfast volunteer at the Harvard Square Homeless Shelter, and I just loved it, so I wanted to get more involved, and so I applied to be the work contract director.
I found like the only sort of like organizing group on campus, which was SLAM.
I worked at the South Boston Boys and Girls Club, and that started my love for the South Boston community.
I came here, I started with Southie After School, so that was my main PBHA endeavor.
My time in PBHA has been largely spent doing Chinatown, various Chinatown programs.
I was an SC for RYI, and then did Riot during the school year with a lot of the same kids, and then directed RYI the following summer.
PBHA's Athena program, which has been the baby and joy of my entire college experience.
Working in the Chinatown community, I grew up in a low-income neighborhood, and I'm also Chinese, and what really tugged at my heart was the fact that I didn't have that many opportunities as I was growing up.
I walked into the building freshman year. I heard they were serving cake. I didn't really know what this place was. I only came for the cake.
My PBHA story might be a little bit different than most. I was on the track team here for the first couple of years, and I was like totally locked into that. I didn't do very much outside the track team. And my sophomore year, I kind of opened my eyes and was like, oh, there are other things here.
I didn't have like these social programs growing up in Philadelphia. You know, I didn't have a sup.
I came to Harvard Square and saw homeless people on the streets and felt I should be doing something and didn't know what the right answer was.
I for 4 years, and I've been an officer for 3, and I think I've just found, you know, community and family and people who are angry and are hopeful and are all those things, and it's definitely like changed my life.
Coming here, it's been so much harder because it's been so much more meaningful.
I think for me, like for a lot of people, there were some really crucial mentors for me that kind of directed me and helped me find my place here and what it was I was supposed to be doing. I helped coordinate Summer Athena. It was basically like the most fun and the best work. I don't know, it's what I feel most proud about having done.
Having a group like Stride Right that provides a community for reflection that is something that we don't necessarily always make time for, and to really think deeply about why you do the work that you do. And
it's kind of weird to go out the way you came in. Like, you came in as a volunteer, you leave as a volunteer, but it's been really nice getting to see that the program, you know, it's up, it's running. You left your mark on it.
Now here I am, back in the same room in which I think I began my first meeting with CASP.
My PBHA story is still evolving, so I'm really excited to see what comes next.
Why do you do social justice work?
Why do I do social justice work? It's such a loaded question.
That's a great question. And that's obviously a very loaded question.
That's a really hard question.
This is a tough question. I can't answer that more than like, what else can you do in the world?
I sort of come at things from this like angle of like justice. For me, it's a lot about like fairness and sort of what it's like unfair and not right and not just.
Making sure that they have the chance to live their life the way that they want to is important to me, and important to being a human.
Since I'm a person who's aware of injustice in the world, then I have some sort of responsibility.
You can do two things from there. You can either get really angry and run into a wall and kind of stop there. Or you can get really angry, run into that wall, and jump over it. And that's where social justice work comes in.
Back is definitely the people.
Like, I was just like, this is amazing for me to be able to like give back and have them also, not only me teaching them, like have them teach me, which I find is like sometimes the best part.
I think there's so much that we all can do together, and I want to be a part of that, and I'm so happy that I've had that opportunity.
Like fear of having other people like forget about the responsibility that's before us, or having me not take full responsibility of my own actions. All of these things like put together make it so that I have to do social justice work. And I don't want to think about what college would have been like without it.
Doing social justice work is about striving for something better and believing that we can live in a more equitable world, because I think otherwise, there's no hope.
Doing like just service in general because like I like the way it make me. I like the way it make me feel.
There has to, at least in some respect, be some responsibility to something larger, because in a sense I didn't end up here on my own.
Because I have an imagination and I can imagine a world that is more just than this one.
Personally, I have this idea that social justice strives for this vision of a world where people are able to unleash their full potential.
More conscious of my privilege, other people's struggles, my own struggles, all that stuff. So.
My community became very, very important to me in college, and I think is one of the main reasons I can even consider like Boston home.
Like I really understand what it means to like place other people before myself, and I really like that part of me now. Like it's something that wasn't there before.
It's just like, I love PBHA and I love working with other families. I love working especially with immigrant families.
Working passionately and diligently for the vision that you have for the future is never in vain.
I'd say like a motto that I've kind of taken on for my life actually comes from another group that I'm really involved in on campus, the Kumbha Singers. And our mission is doing what we can with what we have to leave a space better than we found it.
Because you can't unlearn something you've learned. Once you're aware of a social injustice and how society is designed to work for some people and to fail other people, it's really hard to turn away from a life goal devoted to changing that.
I've learned a lot from PBHA.
A lot.
Like damn, what haven't I learned from PBHA?
I've learned many things.
So yeah, I've learned a lot.
I've learned many things.
Everyone was tossing out the words like social justice, and I was like, I have no idea what that is.
How to fix the sink with 3 different wrenches when it's overflowing during Christmas dinner and you can't call a plumber.
You know, what being professional is, how to communicate with people with different communication styles.
I am really worried I'm not going to be able to find that, but I hope that beyond college I'm able to continue sustaining meaningful relationships, because that's what PBHA has taught me.
On a more like silly note, I guess I've learned that I'm cool. I guess realizing that I do have something to offer.
Working with the homeless shelter, I've learned how powerful a group of compassionate and caring and motivated students can be.
PBHA has really shaped my goals for the future.
I think there's a lot of things that I've learned and that I'm taking with me that I won't realize until much later.
I've learned about how many emails can be sent over an Harvard listserv.
I really learned about what our limitations can be and how hard it is to really make any sort of lasting impact. In the short time that we're here for sometimes 4 years, and we are in and out, and the kids are like, all right, that's another batch of college kids that we'll never see again.
Like everyone has their own journey or their own PBHA story, but I think what most people have in common is that there's something here that changes you in a positive way, and it might not be, the thing that changes you might not be a positive experience, but like it ultimately changes you I believe, for the better. Something I've learned from PBH is to like be open to that and to be open to vulnerability.
Just how valuable it is to have a support system when it comes to wanting to work in social justice.
Life is, in a way, how drug addiction is a disease, how homelessness is a cycle.
You should never underestimate the little things that you do and the impact that it can have on the people that you're serving.
I think I've become a better leader.
I think that I can't imagine having negotiated Harvard without PBHA.
Mission Hill summer program was like my thesis,
I mean, there are situations that test you and test like your thinking on empathy and like fairness. And
It's been disconcerting at times because you realize that there's so much that's outside of your control and that the issues that people face are real.
And those who dare to take that little step forward help make it just that little bit less overwhelming. And so that's why it's worth it.
Basically, it's made me grow up, right?
And just the biggest thing that I've taken away is being able to sit down with someone and have a conversation and to learn their life story.
lot tougher now. I think every single time you face something that you almost couldn't do and you do it, you come away just knowing how to react to things like that much faster.
Doing work with a goal that I liked, that, you know, like that was sort of like under the social justice umbrella, it doesn't necessarily mean you will enjoy the day-to-day work of it. So I think there's a distinction between, you know, sort of, like there are many different ways you can do social justice work.
Relationships, I just really feel like I've grown so much over the last 3 and 4 years.
Become much better at being a friend, at being a son, a brother.
Oftentimes you feel like you're doing good by just thinking externally, but you also need to make sure you're taking care of yourself too.
I am very disorganized, but I am very passionate.
Grew and developed a stronger sense of confidence and self-worth.
And it's taught me to be like a better friend. It's taught me to be a better person.
Or labeled as just transformative.
So thank you.
I'm so grateful for the opportunity to have done all that. So thank you, PBHA. It's been an incredible experience, one of the highlights of my college career. Thank you, David, for always sticking with us.
But I see you in the stars. Go and take a bow, a round of applause. The best there ever, always ready we are. Love always shines, that's how I find you. In case you forgot, I hope this reminds you. Now, take me to that old familiar place. Take me to memories we won't erase. Take me to all that we had, good and the bad. I'll never forget you.
When I dare to be powerful, to use my strength in the service of my vision, then it becomes less and less important whether I am afraid.